120 frames per second, allowing for smooth anywhere.
So this is my life now.
Finally, in April of 2025, Nintendo fully unveiled the Switch 2 to an overwhelmingly positive response.
Really?
No, of course not! This is the company that is quite bluntly allergic to doing anything good without balancing it out with the worst thing anyone has ever heard of.
A new Donkey Kong game?
It's always a double-edged sword with them, and with the recent announcements or lack of certain details of the recent Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, this is more clear than ever. I personally don't take that many issues with a lot of the main topics of discourse. I'm not sure if that's just because Nintendo has me whipped, whether I'm just a plain idiot, but either way, I'm completely enthralled and in love with the Switch 2 and its games. Joy-Cons don't have Hall effect? The screen isn't OLED? Welcome Tour is paid?
Looks horrible anyway.
The console's 400 quid?
Huh?
Mario Kart World is 30 quid digitally bundled with the console, or £75 physically otherwise, which is more than the digital version on the eShop? The game boxes are red now?
What the f***? Hey guys, Arthur here, and I love physical media. Don't tell anyone though.
Physical media is beautiful. Why the hell would I not want to own Animal Car Racer? For as long as I've bought games, it's been my preference to own them physically rather than digitally, especially on the Switch. Sure, it's slightly less convenient than scrolling through a menu, but honestly, there's something really quite special about being inconvenienced. Birthdays, Christmases, all those memories of unwrapping a physical game box, seeing the art, opening it up and popping it into the console, it's a whole ritual. Getting a code instead? Like, wow, awesome! I now own numbers.
How do I redeem this?
So the news of more expensive physical Switch 2 games compared to their eShop counterparts came as a huge blow to me and a whole bunch of other people. Not just because of the price itself, but we seem to be now heading into a digital gaming future that punishes owners of physical media instead of actually embracing them.
Damn it, I got 4 copies of Jamie Oliver. I really feel like that deserves some recognition.
But yeah, unfortunately physical media is on the way out. This is becoming abundantly clear. My Xbox is digital only, the PS5 Pro needs a bolt-on disc drive now, so really, I guess we should be grateful that Nintendo even bothered to spurt out physical games at all.
Huh?
So yeah, the boxes are red now. I've come to accept this. When I first saw them after the Direct, I really wasn't a fan. The red compared to the clear base Switch cases seemed so overwhelmingly red, I didn't even know how to cope with it. But now, after seeing more of the boxes, especially in person, it's starting to feel less violently vibrant. In fact, even as I'm talking about it now, it's kind of looking nice in my head. I mean, it's red. Nintendo's red. It's cute. Xbox is green, PlayStation's blue. I get it. I see the vision. What I don't see the vision with, and probably never will, is this god-awful tumour they've slapped on the top of the box art. This has been spoken about to death already, I know, but seriously, I've even taken to mocking up an alternate solution myself because this is just way too big and bulky for the tiny amount of content actually in that red strip. Why not just make the Nintendo Switch text bigger, fill it out more, or keep the layout of the original Switch boxes, which, okay, I never really loved, but it was clean and allowed the main box art to still fill out the case. I feel that they're trying to mimic the top banner look from the Xbox or PlayStation, or even the old GameCube Wii style, and that could work, if the logo in the middle wasn't this weird little tiny square that's just floating there like an afterthought. Honestly, something like the original Switch format, or even the Wii's banner system would have looked wonders better than whatever this strip is.
Does it really seem like I read books?
My bookshelves are for games as God intended. I've briefly mentioned a couple times before that I have very strong, clear opinions about the spines on game boxes. I like this! I don't like this. I love a bit of consistency. I don't care even if it's all text, all logos, backdrops, whatever, as long as there's a clear trend. A visual language, a rule.
What the hell is that?
Which is why I feel oh so very nervous about the spines on the Switch 2 boxes. This time around, for the first time for Nintendo since the GameCube days, Nintendo's opted in for the wraparound approach on the new game boxes, meaning that the art on the front of the case spills onto the side. I love this. If they keep it up and actually have this on all the boxes and not just skip out every other one, then lovely. I vibe with that so hard. Especially those thin visual bands they've added to the top and bottom. If those stay aligned, collection perfection. But what's really keeping me up at night is the font.
No, I don't have other hobbies, no.
We haven't actually seen a whole lot of the spines, so the final judgment will actually have to wait until launch. But as of right now, I really don't know how to feel. North America has a really nice layout and look, which I really click with. The title cleanly written out in the main typeface of the game, centered on the box in white with a drop shadow. Amazing. Obviously, this might differ depending on the game. Maybe Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example, might use the more of the logo typeface or the main font for the character's speech or something. But on Mario Kart, I really like this look, and I feel like it could lead to a really interesting and cool looking collection.
Unfortunately though, I've got free healthcare, so my spines look abhorrent.
I don't know what I've done, who I've offended, or how many more stupid Nintendo games I should have bought as sacrifice, but these are not it. I hate this stupid font. It worked fine for the base Switch games because it fit in with the aesthetic, but here, it's just so boring on a box that's meant to be showing off a whole lot more character. And the fact that it's no longer centered and it's shoved up the top just makes this lower portion look so weird and out of place. I hate this so much, especially after seeing how good it could have looked. For the original Switch, I didn't really like the American boxes due to the text not being centered, and now for some reason it's made its way over here. I mean, who knows, maybe it'll end up growing on me, or maybe I'll print some alternative covers, or I'll just suck it up.
Nintendo are trying their best to arc me away from buying physical games, but I mean, you can't get rid of me that easily.
Hello!
Maybe I spoke too soon.
Because clearly Nintendo had plenty to say all over the box. From the few boxes we've seen for the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games, there is just so much waffle plastered across the artwork. Nintendo Switch 2 edition, follow the link for info, full-on bullet point disclaimers talking about the compatibility.
Why does my box art need a patch note?
On the back, somewhere out of the way and small, sure, but on the front it is really just so jarring. I can't describe it, but it just makes the release somehow less powerful. And like, am I really supposed to be emotionally moved by the phrase upgrade pack also sold separately? And this is on all of the upgraded base Switch games, you know, both Zelda's, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Mario Party, and the big one for me being Metroid Prime 4, which is a really big release, which feels dampened by this legal text being all over the front. And I expect this is going to appear on Pokemon Legends ZA when that comes around, and also Tomodachi Life. In a similar fashion, the game keycard releases also have an ugly banner on them, but this time it's fully whited out instead of see-through, taking even up more of the box real estate. In this case though, it is a little bit more needed due to the annoying nature of those game keycards, so it's probably wise to try and warn people to, you know, stay the hell away.
It's not all doom and gloom, because really it could be that, and that's just offensive.
As I said before, the wraparound is really neat and is going to allow for a really nice and varied looking collection, really separating it from the base Switch's library. And as for the art itself, I really like it. It's so amazing sometimes just how far we've come from the Wii U days of box arts, which to me personally, never really hit the mark. Donkey Kong Bonanza especially is so vibrant and colourful and really gives me hope for the rest of the library. As for the red boxes, as jarring as it can be, it brings me to a related note about the Switch 2 branding as a whole. They are really leaning into their iconic red branding, even more so than they did with the base Switch. Red, to me, has always been Nintendo's colour, and whilst obviously the Switch's branding was red-centric too, it's just so nice to see in comparison to the 2000s and early 2010s with the pale grey and the Wii U blue they went with for a while.
Neither of which were bad, it's just red works so much better for the brand. You know, you got blue, which is sleek and futuristic, being Sony, you got Nintendo, red, playful, and then you got Xbox being green, you know, pungent and radioactive. So yeah, now we've seen that my opinions reign supreme, I kind of tried my hand at my own improvements.
I've mocked up mainly an alteration to the banner at the top. I feel like if we have to keep it as large as it is, then the logo placement could be a lot better. Fill that space, make use of it. If you're going for the same vibe as Xbox and PlayStation, then really go for it. The only thing I wanted to really change when it comes to the spine is just have the US's version be the blueprint.
I'm sorry.
And then when it comes to the red, as I said before, it really is actually growing on me. I'd say maybe tone it down a touch, but to be honest, in person, it's really not as overpowering as the pictures suggest. These changes apply to my mockup of the Donkey Kong box as well, and also to Metroid, but obviously I had to remove the essay on the front. It's just so visually dominant. To me, it significantly disrupts the compositional hierarchy of the blocks, flattening the depth of the artwork and severely undermining its narrative potential. It's noise! Visual clutter that detracts from the symbolic and emotional clarity of the image beneath.
I know my stuff, what can I say?
And also, shrink this stupid Nintendo Switch Edition logo down a bit. This isn't important. Hell, I'd argue it doesn't really need to be here. I mean, come on, does this really not get the message across?
Look, I get it, I'm needy and I'm whining. There's definitely more problems going on with the Switch 2 than just the game boxes. But these issues do exist. I mean, no manuals again, no extras, just an aggressive red box with a logo that looks like it's been in witness protection. The spines are going to be ugly, the art's been shrunk. It's like every design choice with these boxes was designed by someone who hates shelves. And the worst part is, I'm still here. I'm still funding their abuse, I'm still buying their games. Nintendo's been bleeding me dry for years! So that's why they're red.